through this human system, body system. Now we are going to look at plant system. I'm sure we all have gone through at lesson number 3 about different types of plant. So today we're going to look in depth on what actually plant is and what does plant actually do, how they breathe, how they eat food, where do their food come from, how they drink water. So all these things we'll cover into this lesson. But for now, let me wait for the teachers to arrive. If the teachers did not arrive in another 1 minute or so, right, I think I will just carry on the lesson. I will speak very slowly. Hopefully you guys can understand. Let's wait for a while. Okay, all right. So basically, today is 6th of January. It's the 6th day of 2022. We have 4 more lessons left before we end of this series. After today's lesson of plant, we'll look into manex and electricity, as well as different environment factors. So before we end the series, we have 4 more lessons. So do participate in all the lessons so that we can learn together. Right, I think the interpreter is here already, so I shall start the lesson in proper. All right, first of all, welcome all to We Love Science lesson 8 about plant systems. Today we'll talk about how the plants actually make their own food, how the plants actually drink water, so on and so forth. But before that, I believe that I have asked you guys for your age in Zalo before Christmas. So I know that in my lesson, right, I have 11 students who are below 5 years old. I have 66 students between the age of 6 to 8 years old, whereas I have 111 students that's 9 to 11 years old, followed by 29 students that's above 12 years old.
Vic, you can be interpreter now, Vic. I didn't see Vic. All right, I have in my class, so... Oh, Vic Hoàng, he's here, yeah? Vic, are you... Vic Hoàng, is it you? Is it Vic Hoàng is the interpreter?
I think Min is interpreter. Min.
Chị ơi, em vào cái Zoom, cái link Zoom là ở cái Zoom khác đấy chị ạ, chứ không phải Zoom này. Một số bạn vào cái Zoom 2001 em vừa bảo các bạn sang bên này rồi. Nhưng ở trong cái email em vào theo email thì nó vào cái Zoom kia chứ không phải cái Zoom này. Cả em vừa Nguyệt vừa ở bên Zoom kia, bây giờ mới sang bên Zoom này đấy ạ.
Okay. Okay, let's start. All right. So with all this in place, right, I've actually come up with this lesson plan. So do take note of your age group in this particular PowerPoint slides. When you see a label below 8 years old, that means this slide is for those 8 years old and below to read and understand. When you see the blue color, all to know, means everyone, don't care how old are you, you should know these slides. Whereas for 9 to 11 and above 12, so on and so forth, this will allow you guys to know actually which slides to focus on when you are revising later. All right. So let's start. Plants are actually living organisms that cover much of the land on planet Earth. We see them everywhere. They include grass, tree, flowers, bushes, ferns, and so on. We have covered different groups of plants in lesson 3. We know that plants is divided into flowering and non-flowering plants. They both are similar in terms of they can make their own food. They have green substance called chlorophyll. They have roots, stems, and leaves. All right. The only difference between both sides are flowering plants have flowers and they reproduce by seeds, whereas non-flowering plants do not have flowers, they reproduce by spores. So all this we already covered in lesson number 3. So today we're going to talk about plants in details, like what are they made of, so on and so forth. So unlike human body, plants only have 2 main systems, the root system and the shoot system. The root system is basically any part of plants that's below the ground. They are called root system. Anything above the ground, they're called shoot system. The root system is located below the ground, responsible for absorbing water and minerals from the soil, as well as giving firmness to the whole plant. So this root system is very important. Why? Because it holds the plant onto the ground firmly, so that no matter how strong the wind is, no matter how strong the wind blows, the tree can still stand upright without shaking its body. All right. Next, for the shoot system, it is located above the ground. It helps the plant to make their own food through the process of photosynthesis and reproduction. So the shoot system includes the organs such as stem, leaves, and flower in flowering plants, and fruits if the plants have any. All right. So these big words, photosynthesis. What is photosynthesis? Okay, for those 8 years old and below, photosynthesis basically means, in simple terms, it means the plant use the sunlight and the carbon dioxide on the leaf, and the leaf will use these 2 light and carbon dioxide and make into food, which is known as carbohydrate and oxygen, with the help of water from the ground. So if you are 8 years old and below in this lesson, in this group now, all you need to remember is plant uses light and carbon dioxide and water to form food and oxygen for the plant. All right. If you are 9 years old to 11 years old, do take note. 9 years old to 11 years old, you need to understand this terminology. Basically, the chlorophyll in the leaf traps the light energy to make food, and also make use of the water absorbed from the roots and the light from the sunlight, including carbon dioxide from the air that enters into the stomata through the leaf. So all these components, water, carbon dioxide, light, all these will be formed together to give out oxygen and sugar. So the oxygen that's being formed will be released back to the air, whereas the sugar will be converted into starch, which will be used by the plant for food. And this starch turns chemical reaction iodine into dark blue. So if you are 9 years old to 11 years old, this is what you should know. Do note that it's different from 8 years old and below, because there's extra things like starch, there's extra things like trapped light energy, and so on and so forth. So do take note of these slides. All right. Next. The plant actually captures sunlight using a compound called chlorophyll. So 9 years old, 11 years old, do take note, chlorophyll is green. That's why many plants appear green color. Some people may think that the reason why the leaf is green because green want to absorb green light. But unfortunately, no. Based on the light studies, what we see is actually what the color reflected. So chlorophyll actually reflected green light and absorbed blue and red light. That's why the leaf is green in color. So for those students who are 9 years old, 11 years old, do take note that leaf is green color, not because the light is big, the leaf absorbs the green light. It's because the leaf reflects the green light and absorb the blue and red light. That's why the leaf is green in color. All right, next. So the formula for this photosynthesis for 9 years old to 11 years old is carbon dioxide plus water with the help of light energy and chlorophyll give you glucose and oxygen. So this slide, please take note of this slide. Is very important for 9 to 11 years old students. All right, next, glucose. So what is glucose? So during photosynthesis, the plants produce glucose molecules when they convert light energy into chemical energy. The chemical energy is stored in the bonds of glucose. So you can see this little plant cactus here. He made himself a food called glucose. So why do plants make glucose, and what is it plant? What does plant do with glucose? So the glucose molecule will be further broken down for energy to power reaction. So plants make those glucose in order to feed themselves, because plants are living things. All living things need air, water, and food to survive. And for plants, because plants have no mouth, they can only make their own food through photosynthesis. All right, next. All right, now it's for students above 12 years old. If this year you are 12 years old and above, do take note of the following slides, and it's different from the rest of the slides. All right, so photosynthesis for 12 years old and above is the process that converts solar energy into chemical energy. You see the difference now? For 9 years old to 11 years old, we talk about light energy. But for 12 years old and above, we talk about solar energy into chemical energy that's used by biological system, which is us. For 9 years old and 11 years old students, we talk about used by animals and humans. We name the people, we name the things, we name the noun. But for above 12 years old science, we use terminology like biological system, like us. So you see this graph here, the sun will give out energy with solar energy. Solar energy will go into the chloroplast of the leaf. It with the help of carbon dioxide and water, end up release sugar, oxygen, and water. All right. So photosynthesis has 3 major events. The sunlight is converted into chemical energy, number 1. Number 2 is water is split into oxygen. HO2 is split into O2. Carbon dioxide, CO2, is fixed into sugar, C6H12O6. For those 12 years old and below, don't worry, these are all above 12 years old topics, all right? So if you're 12 years old and above, do know that carbon dioxide, CO2, is fixed into sugar, which is a chemical formula of C6H12O6, all right? So this is the formula of the photosynthesis reaction for those above 12 years old. We have 6 carbon dioxide molecules plus 12 water molecules plus sunlight that give out 1 sugar glucose molecule, C6H12O6, plus 6 water molecules plus 6 oxygen molecules. This is a standard formula for secondary school students above 12 years old. All right, do take note on these slides. Next, after we talk about photosynthesis, how the plant actually makes its own food, now we look at how the plant reproduce. So look at this diagram here. This is a flower. So flowers are reproductive structure of the plant. All right, they have sepal, they have petals. So the use of all this function is basically it encloses the bud before it opens. All right, this little guy here, and it protects the flower while it's still developing. And these petals here are basically bright in color to attract insects to help them to carry the pollen grains to other flowers. All right. So stamens, this little stick here is the male portion of the flowers that are made up of these 2 components. All right, it produces the pollen grains for the insect to on the wing to take it to another flower so it can make it into a fruits. All right, So most flowers have multiple stamens. All right. Then we have this particular component here, which is known as this side. This side is the female portion of the flower. So this flower diagram have male and female function together. So it will turn into a fruit after the male and the female function mix together to form a fruit. So this stigma is sticky. Why? Because when the wind blow or animal or insect comes, the pollen grain from the wing or from the insect will be stick to this stigma for them to turn into a fruit. All right. So the ovaries produce the female's ovals that will help to make into a seeds. Okay, next slide, please. So there are two different types of flower plants. One is one house. That means in a single plant, there is male and female flower together. So there's no need for insects. Or I think I saw some hands. Yes, Tony, I saw a hand. Yes. Yes, Tony. Any questions?
I want to ask you something.
Yes.
When
Yes.
when the female and then the boy flower, I don't know how it's called.
All right. When the male and female, yes. Boy and girl, yes.
Why can we
What's the questions? Slowly, you can actually speak in Vietnamese. I will ask Alice to translate if you can.
okay.
Alice, need your help?
Yes.
Yeah, Tony, please, Vietnamese. You can speak Vietnamese if you want. Tony, are you there?
Yes, I'm here.
You can speak in Vietnamese if you want.
Bây giờ mình muốn hỏi thầy là mình có thể phân biệt con hoa nam với hoa nữ không? Thế là hết rồi á.
He asked that how can we know what plant is female and what plant is male?
Okay. All right. Thank you, Alice. Okay. Basically, right, how we know this flower is male or female? When the flower only have this particular portion, let me take out the annotation. When the flower only have this one, I draw a circle. This is a boy flower. All right. When the flower only have this center portion only, this center portion is a female flower, a girl flower. So that's why I mentioned some flowers have both male and female, like this picture here. There's a male component in red and a female component in purple. So this flower will automatically turn into a fruit. Whereas for other flowers, if they do not have the purple color one, they will not turn into fruits. You need to have this purple color portion here in order for the flower to turn into fruits. So I hope this helped to answer Tony's question. We identified the flowers, is it male or female, boy or girl, based on the red color circle and the purple color circle. All right, yes. Ming Chen, right?
Your question is
Yes.
what is the effect of flower princess?
What is the petal, is it?
Yes.
You mean this blue color thing, is it?
Yes, is
okay. This blue color thing basically, right? It is used, right? Let me open up. Okay. Petal is used, right? It's bright in color. Why? Because they want to attract insects to come. For those flowers only have male portion, they need the insects to come and feed on the pollen grains, come and feed on the flowers, nectars. in order for the insects to carry the pollen grains all the way to the female flower, in order for the female flower to turn into fruits. That's why the petal play a very important function, which is to make the flower as beautiful as possible. The more beautiful, the more bright the colors is, the high chance insect will come and take the pollen grains to the female flowers to turn the female flower into a fruits. So I hope this answers your question, Min Chuan. All right. Thank you very much, Min Chuan. Next, Ruby, is it? You have a question? If not, I will wave our hands and continue. Yes, Min Chuan, you have a question again?
The zombie mushroom is the flower.
Zombie mushroom is not a flower. Zombie mushroom is a fungi. It's a concept, a fungi that produced by spores.
I know. I think zombie mushroom eat flowers.
Zombie mushroom don't eat flowers. Zombie mushroom spores will control and feed on the insect, the ants. So it's different from the flower, whereby you see flower reproduced by flowering plants reproduced by fruits and seeds, whereas zombie mushroom concept reproduced by spores. So this is a difference. And zombie mushroom come into picture when it control the ants to go to the place that they want to grow into a concept zombie mushroom. So it's different from flower, and they do not feed on flowers. All right. So I hope this answers your questions. Any other questions? If you have questions, please raise your hands. All right. If not, let's carry on. Oh, wait, Lynn, yes. Hi, Lynn. Any questions?
Yes, because before this, I have to go out, but I cannot ask you. Can you teach it again for me?
Oh, you mean the flower, is it? Okay, can you ask? Can I know what you want to repeat?
Yes.
Want me to repeat? The flower is okay. Let me look into flower. Let me talk about flowers for a very short one. All right. Yes, Bing Min.
Teacher, why the left it have 3 stamens and why the right it has 2 stamens?
Why the red have 3 stamens?
Yes.
And then the red.
Yes.
You mean which one? Okay, the number of stamens depends on the flower. Some flower have only 2, some flower have 3. It depends on how the flower is being designed. All right. So so every flower have different stamen. Okay, so for the benefit of Lynn, right, let me go through again very quickly on what we have discussed just now. All right, basically what we discussed just now is basically we talk about reproduction in flowering plants. All right, there are a lot of different types of flowers in this world, and we have basically male and female flowers depending on what kind of features they have. If the flower only have, all right, hold on. Yes, Ming Chuan, is it? Yes, Ming Chuan, yes.
A question: how many flowers can a tree produce?
The tree can produce as many flowers as you can think. It can be 10, 20, 30, or 40, depending on the tree. The number of nutrients in the soil, the number of fertilized soil content will depend on how many flowers to have. So if this soil is not very fertile, this soil is not very good, not much nutrients, there will be very little flowers. Whereas if this soil is fertile and a lot of nutrients, then this tree will grow many flowers. So the number of flowers depends on how many nutrients, how much nutrients this particular plant actually absorb. All right. So let me go back in simple details. So there's male and female flowers. How we define male flowers is based on this component here in red. when you see this red color portion, this will basically means it's a male flower. When you see this purple color portion, this means it's a female flower. When you see both in a same flower, it means to say, right, this flower have male and female feature. It is a dual house instead of a mono house. All right. So from there, right, we know that depending on the flower, different types of fertilization will take place. If the flower only have male features, it will require the help of the wind and the insect to carry the pollen grain from here all the way to a female flower in order for the female flower to turn into a fruits. All right. So let us proceed on to where we stopped just now. As mentioned, some plants is mono, one house, whereby they have both male and female flowers on a single plant. Whereas some plants is dual, full house, whereby this plant is only male. So all the male flowers go in this plant. Then the other plants grow all female flowers. So depending on the species of the flowers, all right? So let's carry on. So as mentioned just now, this particular features here, the pollen grain will grow in the anther. When the grains are fully grown, this will split open and allows the wind or insects to carry it to a female flowers. All right, next. So stigma is the sticky place for the pollen to be attached to. Okay, so you can see that there is stigma here and there's style here and there's ovary here. All right, next. So how does the male flower reach to a female flower? Plants are not like human. For us, when a boy see a girl, when a girl see a boy, they like each other, they'll come to each other and say, I like you, I love you. But however, for flowers, they cannot move. The only way for them to say hello to each other is through these three different types of pollination: animal, wind, and cell. So, for example, hummingbirds and bees, when they go to a flower, the pollen grain will start onto their body. And as they move to different parts of the plants, different type of plants, and they move to different places, they will carry the pollen grain around to another plant and then make the female flowers to become grown into fruits. And all these flowers that require animal to help them, they are all usually bright in color and they have a very nice smell. When you smell them, they are very nice. They are not pungent smell. They are not smelly. They are very nice, fragrant smell. These are the type of flower that require animal help. Next, apart from animal, there's also another type of flowers that need the wind help. This pollen grain from the male flowers, they are very light. The moment the wind blows, the pollen grain of this flower will be brought to the air and will land on a female flower to turn it into a fruits. When you see, if you don't need the animal help, you do not need to be beautiful. You don't need to look beautiful. All you look basically right, allow the wind to carry you, that's all. So hence this type of flower, they look very ugly. They basically have very pale color. They have no smell at all. Some have little smell, but majority have no smell because they do not need any insect. They do not need to attract any insect to help them. The wind can help them. So they don't need to be colorful, don't need to be so beautiful to attract insects. That's why this type of wind pollination flower, they are very dull, very small, and have little color, little sense. Next, the last one, self-pollination. Just now I mentioned, right, we got one type of flower that have both male and female parts. When this particular flower have male and female parts in a same flower, this means to say that I don't need insect, I don't need wind, I myself can do my own job. the male part of the flower will go to the female part of flowers by touching it. The moment it touches it, the pollen grain of the male part of a flower will go into the female part and turns the flower into a fruit as a whole. So this type of flower don't need any animal or wind. They themselves can do up their own job. All right, next. So type of pollination, we have animals, we have wind, and we have self-pollinate. All right. So pollination occurs when a pollen grain landed on a stigma, be it by wind or by animal, as long as the pollen grain is stuck onto the animal and the animal landed onto a female flower, the pollen grain will be stick to the female part of the flower known as stigma, and pollination started the process. All right. So these are some of the notes that's for those students who are above 12 years old. Fertilization takes place within the flowers. I shall skip this. You can take a look later when I give you the slides. All right, this is an enlarged version of a pollen grain that will be stuck in the animal body, like insect body, and transferred to a female flower. This is how it looks like when you enlarge. All right, next. So all to know. This is tomato plant. Each ovaries will basically becomes a seed. Each ovule becomes a seed, and then the surrounding ovaries that we saw just now in the plant will grow into a fruits, depending on the duration of each type of plant. All right. So after the flower turns into a fruits, the next thing we know is what? Seeds. After they turn into a fruits, people may ask, so how do these flower plants form their seeds? The seeds basically inside these fruits, and it will travel by the following methods in order to grow into a new baby plant. So some travel by the wind. When the wind blows, the seeds will be carried by the wind. Some is by animals, where they're stuck onto animal body. Some is by water, like lotus here. Some is by bursting. Because when the fruit bursts, the seed is being dispersed into the air and fell down on the ground, and that's how it started growing. Some is by human after we eat into our tummy and then we pass out, or we human grow and plant the seed ourselves. So these are the 5 different methods on how the seeds actually turn into a baby plant. All right. So I'm sure you guys know about this process called germination. We have covered this in lesson 3. So after the seed is being transferred to a new location by wind or by animal or by water or bursting and so on and so forth, it will go through a process called germination. Germination, just to recap, is a process for the seeds to grow into a seedling. Each seed contains a baby plant, which will grow if there is warmth, water, and air. So just to recap, it will take 3 to 21 days for the seeds to germinate. During germination, they have no leaf. When the baby plant have no leaf, they get their food from the seed leaf. So as the plant grows from a seed to a seedling, it gets fruit from the seed leaf. All right. For the 11 years old and above, this is the correct terminology. So as it continues to grow, the seed leaves will shrink and drop off once the food has been used up. Okay. So now we have completed plant systems. The next topic is MANEC. So I shall stop here and answer your question if you have any. So you guys got any question, please let me know. It can be about fungi, about animal, about plants, about body system, any topics. All right. Any questions? Yes, Tony.
I have a question about animals.
Sure.
Some is birds. When the birds are in, I ask about the birds.
All right.
What is what mineral that's the bird beak made of?
What minerals does the bird made of?
No. I ask the beak, not the bird.
Are you asking what materials does the bird's beak made of, is it?
Yes.
The beak is like the one, the mouth, is it? Am I right?
Yes.
So what material does the beak made of? All right, the beak of the bird is made of this particular component called keratin. All right, Keratin, which should continue to grow as time goes by. It is so this substance is called keratin. All right, that is made by the bead. They used to make the bird bead. All right.
Thank you.
All right, thank you very much. Next. All right, I think let me elaborate further on Tony's questions. So basically, right, the birds, pits, right, sometimes it's made of chitin, and it covers it's a form of protein that is formed for the bird's beaks. All right. So just remember that bird's beaks are formed by proteins known as chitin and covered by a substance called keratin. All right. Thank you, Tony. Next, yes.
When the
Hi.
animal take the honey from the flower, will the flower die?
When the animal take the honey from the flower, will the flower die, is it? When you say die means what? Means the flower, when you say die means what? Means the flower fell down or the plant died? When you say die means what? The flower die or the entire plant die?
I can see it.
Okay, what happened? Okay, let me just share with you. The plant or flower will not die when the animal like bees actually comes and take the honey. They don't take honey, they take nectars. All right, they take nectars to make into
Now I
honey.
understand.
All right, they take, so the bees collect the nectars from the plants and put it in their honeycomb to form honey. The plants will not die when the bees took the nectars from the flowers. It will basically reproduce to a new form of nectars for the bees to come and take. So the plant will not die. All right. Thank you very much. Yes.
My questions is some plants like violet bulb and violet splash out and the seed comes out, drop into the ground, and this grow into a new plant. But
Yes.
how can that plant do that?
You're asking, right? How can a plant basically burst and a seed fall onto the ground, right?
Yeah, how can it burst?
All right. The plant, how can it burst? When the time is right, these particular components of these particular fruits, right, will dry up. When they dry up, it will burst out due to some force from the earth and the plant itself. So when it bursts out, the seed will be thrown across the street or just on the ground. So it's due to when the fruits are dry up and all these forces that makes the fruit burst the seed out. All right. So I hope it answered your question. All right. Any other questions from the ground? All right. Yes.
Minh Nhật, Justin.
Sorry. Any questions? All right, no questions. Thank you very much. All right, any other questions from the ground? If there's no question, right, we shall basically proceed with the quiz. All right. Any questions?
Yeah.
All right, no question. Alice, please proceed with the quiz now. Thank you very much.
Teacher Andrew, you want to play classic or play teams? Teams. All right, now we play quiz team.
All right, now we prepare for quiz by team. Today's topic is quite fast because we're trying to split the class into different groups. I hope you guys understand. If you don't know, please let me know. Let me answer some questions. I will prepare and answer you in Zalo. Some of your questions are very interesting that I will need some time to think in details. All right, the quiz is out. So for those students on in the group chat, please join the quiz now. I shall send to Zalo now the quiz.
Please join. So if I start the quiz, you can't join.
Let's hang on. I think people are joining the quiz now.
Yeah, I know. But when I start the quiz, nobody can join.
All right. So all right. So we have 4 teams.
Yeah, 4 teams here.
All right, very good. So this will be the last 4 quiz of this lesson, this series. We have 3 more quiz and 3 more lessons, and we will be ending this series. Hopefully the NCSM management give me another series to teach. All right, we have how many? We have 30 participants now. Well, good. Let's wait for enough. Wait, hold on. Wait for 2 minutes. Wait for 2 minutes. More people are going to join. Hold on first. Yes, correct. We wait for 2 minutes. The more people join, the more merrier. All right. We want to see whether how. All right.
There 32 participants.
All right. So 1 minute. All right. Hopefully you all join now. Linda and Becco, are you in now? All right, very good. Linda is in. Becco. Okay, press the thing now. All right, let's start.
Okay.
All right.
Now start the quiz.
works last is still at the top. Teamwork last still at the top. Work last almost finished the quiz. Can I end the quiz now? I think everyone finished.
All right, sure. You can end it if you want to. You can end it if you want to.
Okay, so now I'll end the quiz. Let's see who's the winner. Third place, Morning Hours. Second place, Tie-Dye Pandas. And the first place, Word Blast, is the first place. Well done.
Well done, well done. Yes, been meaning your questions.
Teacher Andrew, do you want to review the questions and explain it?
Sure. You hang on for a second. Let me ask Ming. Ming raise his hand. Any questions? No questions?
No.
All right, thank you very much. Okay. So yes, Alice,
Review questions and you can explain it to the students who have wrong answers.
All right, sure. For this question, right? This question basically, as you can see, it is actually hole on the below the ground. This particular part of the plant actually go straight to the ground. When we say below the ground, it means root system. For shoot system is those above the ground like stem, leaves, and fruits and flowers, if there's any. All right, so this question, please. All right, as mentioned earlier just now, anything that's above the ground is shoot system. Anything below the ground is root system. All right, next. So as mentioned just now, root system is basically is below the ground and is responsible to collect, absorb water for the plants to grow and make food and also collecting nutrients from the soils so that can and also help the plants to grip firmly onto the ground, prevent the plant from falling down. All right, next questions. So a shoot system basically, right, it helps the plant to make its own food and allows the plants to reproduce. And also it contains stem, leaves, and flowers and fruits if there's any. So these are basically the standards description of a shoot system. All right, next. So plants capture sunlight using a compound called chlorophyll. All right, this is a particular green substance that basically helps the plant to do up the process called photosynthesis. All right, next. All right, next. So all plants are green because of the chlorophyll. Chlorophyll reflects the lights, all right? So it reflected green light, that's why the leaf is green in color. Okay, next, please. So glucose convert what? As shown on the slides, glucose convert light energy into chemical energy. The light energy is from the sun, also known as solar energy, and chemical energy is like glucose. All right, next. So plants actually make glucose, right, to feed themselves because plants themselves is living things. Living things need air, water, and food to survive, and plants do not have mouth. So the only way they can make their own food is through photosynthesis, whereby it convert carbon dioxide and sunlight into glucose, which is used as a food for the plants. All right, next. So this particular tomato plants, we know how does this tomato fruits are being formed. It's being formed when the oval becomes a seed and the surrounding ovaries grows into a fruit. Yes, any questions? I also raise your hand. No question. Yes, any questions? No question. All right, no questions. Let's carry on. Next page. All right, so why all the flowers attract pollinators? Let me rephrase the question. How do the flowers attract pollinators? So how do the flower attract pollinators? When you need to attract something to a place, you need to show them that, hey, I'm very beautiful, I'm very dead, very beautiful, very pretty. So how to be beautiful and pretty? You need to have bright colors so that when the insect look at you, wow, so beautiful, I come over. All right, this is how the flowers attracts the pollinators. So the question actually should be, how does the flowers attract pollinator? Answer is bright colors. When the color is bright enough, people see, ah, yeah, so pretty, I'm coming here now. All right, so this question, please. So each seed, every single seed in the fruits will eventually form into a plant. So each seed actually contains a baby plant. It cannot contain a car. It cannot contain a coin. Neither can it contain a golden credit card. If it's a golden credit card, let me know. I will go to the market and buy seeds and make payment. I don't mind to go and buy a seed just to make it a golden credit card. All right, next question, please. So how many days does the plant needs to grow from a seed to in order to grow from a seed to a baby plant? So how many days? Well, based on what we learned in lesson 3 and now, right? It takes 3 to 21 days for the plants to grow into seeds to seedlings. So I think there's something wrong with this question whereby there's some misunderstanding. So how many days does a plant need to grow from a seed to germinate is actually the answer is actually 3 to 21 days, which in fact, whoever chosen 1 to 33, 1 to 21, both are correct. If you chose 1 to 21 and 1 to 31, you are correct. So this question have two answers. One is 1 to 31 days and 1 to 21 days. All right. So next question, please. So what is photosynthesis? Photosynthesis is where the sunlight from the sun and the plant meet together to undergo a process called photosynthesis. All right. So you cannot play together. So definitely sunlight and plant cannot play together. Ocean cannot be empty of water. If ocean is empty of water, will be dead. And sunlight and plant cannot go to park together because plants have no legs. So the very obvious answer for this question is when the sunlight and the plants meet together is a basic, simple, short definition of photosynthesis. All right, next question. Ovaries. This question is actually should be for those aged 12 years old and above. So do take note that ovaries produce female. Okay, next question. So, all right, do you know the lesson? Yes, no, boring. Okay, so I see people saying yes, people saying a little, people saying boring. I have 3 students saying boring. Not sure whether what should I do to make it more interesting. We have 3 more lessons to go. If you have any ideas on how to make the lesson more interesting for the remaining 3 lessons, let me know so that I can see how to improve the lesson. All right, thank you very much. Thanks, Alice. All right. So with that, I think we end to this lesson. So this lesson we're gonna talk about Manex, North Pole, South Pole. So we'll talk about Manex for this lesson. So if you are free to come for next lesson as we approach the end of series soon. All right. So if you have any questions, if no question, you can leave the room now and we can end the lesson today. Thanks, Kate. Thanks, Annabelle. Thanks, Alice. Thanks, Becco. Thanks, Lindan. Thank you, teacher Hong Viet. Thank you, teacher Min. All right. All right, thank you very much. Thanks, Ping Min. All right. If you have no question, you can leave the room now. I will see you next week for our final 3rd lesson. All right, bye-bye.
Bye, teacher Andrew. Bye. Have
Bye,
a
Alice.
great
Bye.
evening.
Have a great reading to you too. Bye-bye. Take care. Enjoy.